Well, hello and welcome back to Syndicate Motorsport. Here on another Saturday night's racing with me, Pirate Lace Beam, for the commentary stream. And we are here at round number 6 of the BTCC Championship, which has been running now for a few weeks. And we are here at Bikernieki, which is a fantastic circuit. We've used this a few times before. And I'm very much looking forward to the race tonight. We don't have a huge grid, unfortunately, but we've had some pretty good races. So we've been light on attendance this week. Anyway, we will get into it in a second with who's driving what and what's going on. But let me first of all bring up the standings and show you guys where we are with the championship thus far. So as you can see, we've got Erik Axelsson leading the pack in first place with 214 points and 122 kilos of ballast. That's quite a lot. And second place, Andrew, with 201 points, followed by Forrest McCormack in third place and Binding in fourth. Akshik in fifth place, 173 points, and Akshik is looking forward to a good result today. He's reliably informed me that he's feeling very confident about his chances today, and he feels that he's on track for a pretty solid outcome, but we'll see how that goes. At the moment he's running P2 in qualifying, and he's on a 1:19.727, which is exactly the same time. Well, sorry, I stand corrected. 1:19.727 to Erik Axelsson's 1:19.927. So 2 tenths in that. Whilst Neo is currently on a 1:19.607. We'll have to see whether he can bring that through to the race pace. Viles in fourth place, 1:20.590, followed by Andrew, who is definitely struggling. He has been struggling in the last few rounds, and it'll be interesting to see what his odds are tonight. And Binding in sixth place with a 1:20.977. So the grid is relatively close, about a second in it from top to bottom, and we'll see how the racing goes once we get into the swing of things. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump onto an external view with one of our drivers, and here we are with Akshik in his BMW. So one of the things that we've seen in the last few races is that the BMWs lack straight line speed. And that's been an issue hampering them through some of the previous rounds where the tracks had a long straight and they weren't primarily consisting of corners. So things like Road Atlanta and so on, all a bit of a struggle for the BMW. But that should all change this weekend. Bikernieki is by far one of the twistiest circuits we've been on, and there's no really very long straight. So that should mean that the likes of Akshik are on track for a bit of a improvement in their odds. And Neo out in first place is also driving a Beamer. So should be a good sign of the BMW's potential. But we have seen historically that the BMWs perform very well in qualifying, but then struggle actually in the race. So we'll have to see how things pan out for this weekend's racing. So just about a minute and 3/4 left on the qualifying session. Then we'll get into our two 20-minute races, with the first race being 20 minutes. Second race being 20 minutes, but based on the finishing positions of the first race. And it does seem like the pace of the BMWs has been improved. 19.549 for Akshik there. Taking evasive action there to get around Andrew by the looks of it. Something else that's happened is that there's been a slight tweak to the setup restrictions on the BMW. They did have the rear wing restricted, and that's been reduced a little bit. Hey Adrian, good to see you. But Akshik is definitely on track for a good time here. Let's go for the onboard. Get a sense of how things look from the front seats. On the final corner. full width of the track. No improvement on time there for Akashik. Not too big a gap between Neo and Akashik, but it does look like a pretty BMW stacked lineup here today. Eric, of course, in the Honda in P3, brings a lot of pace, but he is carrying a fair amount of ballast to go into this race. Yeah, I'm good, Adrian. Thanks for asking. How are you doing? The qualifying session has ended. A few moments to go. We'll be getting into the first of the two 20-minute races. Delta looks all messed up again. Minus 35 seconds for Akashik, which seems a little bit ambitious. And into the pits for Akashik. I can't remember what I sound swapped this car with, but it sounds pretty good. Yeah, BMW doesn't have any sound by default, so it had to be sound swapped. Oh cool, how did you like AC Rally, Adrian? Eric is carrying a lot of ballast. If I bring up the standings, you'll see he is on 122 kg compared to Akashik, who is on 29. So there is a bit of a ballast difference. Also, the BMWs are strong here at Bikernieki because they're primarily quicker in the corners and got a little bit more in the way of corners today. I would never say such a thing. Adrian the doppelganger. Sounds good, Adrian. Yeah, I mean, a good rally game's very welcome, actually. We haven't had any rallying here for that time. Don't lie, Adrian. Andrew doesn't have more than one friend. He's very fond of a beach towel, though. What's this, Andrew? Who is Adrian a doppelganger for? Okay, 45 seconds to go. It is scary how so many human beings that there's, you know, likely someone out there who looks exactly like you. Well, someone doesn't like their fuel level. Alright, lights are up. Engines are revving. And away they go. Akishik off to a flying start there in the BMW. No one else getting off the line quite as quickly as him, and he's off to a really good start, putting a good bit of time between himself and the rest of the pack. Further back, Eric, Axelson and Andrew going side by side. So does Binding and Viles. Binding going slightly off, well, Andrew going slightly off track there to keep space. Eric and Andrew continuing to stay in close proximity to each other as they come through the first couple of corners here. This part of the track usually sorts people into single file, but no such luck here. Eric definitely maintaining position, bumping a little bit with Andrew, who manages to recover, but in the background you can see Viles and Binding, with Viles now alongside Andrew looking for a line on the inside. Onboard view from Binding here at the back, and you can see Viles as well as the rest of the group close up ahead, while the BMW storm away in the front. Neo and Akshik starting to break away, having their own battle. Viles locking up the brakes a little bit there as they come through the final corner. And onto the start-finish straight. Everyone running a little bit wide there, but Viles all over the rear end of Andrew and pushing hard as he comes down to the right-hander. Get a slightly better angle here so we can see what's going on. Viles trying to go around the outside. Won't quite get there in time, but tucks in while Binding tries to look for a way through. Doesn't present an opportunity though. And Viles is really pushing here for the opportunity to get past Andrew. Tucking on the inside here, he's going to almost clip the wall and catches the rear end of Andrew, manages to correct though. Binding getting caught out behind that, nowhere to go. And now Binding in with an opportunity to push past Viles. Side by side, Binding's on the inside this time. Viles goes for the switchback potentially. And Viles finds himself at the back of the grid. At the front, we've got Akishik and Neo, and it's Neo in the orange and black car, trying to keep up with our resident German Akishik. I shall say that, they're both German. But it looks like Neo isn't quite able to keep up with Akishik's pace, and Akishik was feeling very confident going into the racing today that he would deliver a strong performance, and thus far, he seems to be holding true to that promise. Ooh, but slides a little bit around the first corner, and Neo catching a little bit too much over rotation as well. That leaves Eric in a strong position here to battle with Neo. And it looks like he's got through. The battle continues. Viles a bit further back now at the back, maybe a little bit unsettled following the incident earlier on with Andrew. Finds himself 2.4 seconds back, but it's Neo, Andrew and Eric who are in close formation here, trying to give the front runner here a bit of a run for their money, but at the moment the battle unfolding here between second and fourth place will undoubtedly allow things at the front to be easier. Akishik doesn't have to worry so much because these guys are going to be fighting each other. Looks like Neo over-rotated there and he's gone straight off the track. And Neo has found himself possibly picking up a bit of damage there. Let's see if he comes into the pit lane. No, Neo is staying out. Everyone's got a bit more spread out now. So in 6th place we've got Viles, and they're hunting Binding. Both of them driving the Toyota. And the first 5 minutes of this race has been certainly action-packed. Let's hope the last 15 has got something in store for us as well. Viles definitely struggling a little bit. Going off track a little bit more at the back. Binding getting a bit closer to Neo now. 0.3 of a second separating these two. On board from Binding's point of view here. Keeping his foot in, using the full width of the track. Neo starting to get closer as Binding uses all of his racing capabilities here to hunt down the BMW. Into the final corner, which is a tricky one to do. Binding managing to get closer. Let's see if he can get around Neo in the first corner. We saw Neo over-rotate here last time. Again, looks like Binding's got an opportunity there. Neo making a slight mistake, and that's allowed Binding to get alongside. Binding pushing hard now through to the next bit, which is very tricky to do side by side. Binding catching a lot of curb, and that's caused a bit of an accident. And it's Neo and Binding caught up in that, with Neo facing the wrong way. That's allowed Viles to catch up with both drivers, overtaking Neo and possibly catching Binding in the process. So very unfortunate for Neo. He's now 10-11 seconds behind, but it's Viles and Binding where the action is happening now. Front quarter panel with Viles at the moment as they come through the final corner. Front wheel drives will be struggling a little bit in this race, I think, because the tyres will start to overheat, and we might see a bit of kind of degradation in performance as the latter half of the race rolls around. But at the moment, it's the Toyotas who stand to be in the most advantageous position here, given they are rear-wheel drive. And Akshik certainly put his practice in. A bit of a cloudy day here at Bikernieki. See the track conditions changing from sunny to shade and back again. Viles losing a little bit of time there, as Binding manages to put a pretty blistering speed through those S's. Out in the front though, Akshik continues to be strong. Last lap time was a 1:20.065, best 1:19.885, so not quite on qualifying pace, but we'll have a bit more fuel on board at the moment. Eric 3.1 seconds further back, and Andrew 3.7 behind them. Inside view here with Eric Axelsson in the Honda. See Akshik out in front there. Tantalisingly close, but so far away at the same time. So, just approaching half race distance, and Akshik leads the race still with a 3.5 second advantage over P2. Binding is a good 10 seconds behind Andrew at this stage. Of course, Andrew and Binding teammates. And Viles is only 2.1 seconds behind Binding, but Neo another 10 seconds behind after Viles, so quite separated now. Shame there's a limited number of drivers. It usually allows a little bit more battling to happen. So how come you aren't racing it, Adrian? Leaving Andrew out there all alone. I'll leave the camera on Akshik here because if he does have a bit of a whoopsie daisy, I don't want to miss a thing. Yeah, that's fair enough, Adrian. So, track temperature 33 degrees with an 11km/h wind. Track conditions are optimum after the qualifying session concluded. And at the moment, Akshik on track to take this race all the way to the end in P1. Hear Eric's Honda growling away in the background. Yeah, you're right, Adrian. Neo is slowly gaining some ground there. He's taken a second off of Viles. Bindy, on the other hand, is slipping further back. 12 seconds behind Andrew. It's a great camera angle, that one. There's Eric in the background, just catching a glimpse here and there of the Honda. But he's actually getting further behind, 4.5 seconds. Akshik sets a 1:20.392. Well, at least when there's no battles going on, we can put the more cinematic camera on and enjoy a little bit of driving delights here at Bikernieki. There's 5 minutes left on this race. Akshik looks like he's on track here for a very solid finish. About to take some time off as well. 19.849 for Akshik. New personal best. Neo continues to close the gap to Viles. Now down to 7 seconds. Well, that has increased a bit. He's getting further and further back. Back up to 8.5. Akashik continues. Looks like he's on track here for, well, unless there's a major issue. Nothing seems to be able to stop the German. So onto the 12th lap, Akashik goes. A little bit of a squirrely run through T1 there. But Eric is still falling further behind, 6.1 seconds behind. Bindings 20 odd seconds behind Andrew at this stage. So we've just 2 minutes left on the clock. We've only got a couple of laps to go here. And the grid is very spread out at this stage. Almost 6+ seconds between every driver. And Akashik onto the final lap here at Bikernieki. And there we have it. Akashik brings home the BMW as promised to a P1 finish here at Bikernieki. Solid finish for the German. It's going to do very well for his championship standings. Eric picking up a solid P2. And Andrew gets a P3, back on the podium. Thank you, Ash. Yeah, it's a shame you can't be here for this one. Wiles finishing up in P5 with Neo, who was running in P2 for most of the beginning of this race, picks up a solid P6. Unfortunately, because of the fact that Akshik is a regular stealer of beach towels, he will be awarded a 55-second penalty. A BMW sandwich. Can't shift, I can't drive. Yeah, what happened, Neo? Did you have a damage? Subpar. It's always good to build on your strengths, Neo. Akshik reversing down the pit lane then. Ah, okay, yeah, I thought that might be the case, Neo. Where is Akshik attempting to go? Okay, so we'll be on to the second race in a moment or two. Hopefully Neo gets off to a better start. Well, not better start, he had a brilliant start last race, but a better finish. Doing the last to first challenge is Neo. Let's start a little prediction, shall we? So we've got Andrew, got Eric, got Akshik, got Binding, got Neo, minutes. There you go, cast your bets now. Who will race? Who will win the second race? Actually, it's got 20 seconds to bet on himself. So lights are up, engines are revving. And away we go. Actually not off to a great start this time, a bit slower off the mark as compared to race number 2, and that's left the Toyotas in a bit of a strong position. Meanwhile, Neo off with a sterling start as expected is positioning himself early on in this race for a hopeful overtake. And there's Akshik absolutely annihilated in T1, leaving him right at the back of the grid, whilst Neo is the 5th position runner here in the BMW. We go for an onboard view from his point of view. You can see Viles up ahead in the Toyota. And it's Andrew leading the race. Neo catching a little bit too much rotation there. Akshik 5 seconds behind. Don't know if he picked up any damage in that. Here we are with Eric leading the rest of the Toyotas and Neo as they hunt down Andrew. Into the final corner, Viles with a daring move, trying to get past Binding, but Binding manages to come back. And it's Viles on the inside as they head down to T1. Neo in the mix as well, trying to find a way through these two Toyotas. But as yet, the opportunity not presenting itself. The Viles is now convincingly up to P3 with a 1.3 second gap to Binding. Brake calipers glowing as they come over the crest of the hill. In the background, Akshik trying to make up some ground. There's Neo with the move on the inside of Binding. Makes that work very nicely. Bit of smoke coming off of Binding's wheels as he locks up the brakes, and Neo's through to P4. Out in front we've got Eric putting some pressure on to Andrew. At the moment, Andrew is managing to hold Eric at bay. Coming down to T1. Eric still right there. Akashik in the background as well, 2.5 seconds behind Binding. Neo's all over the rear end of Viles there, side by side. Bit of a bump and a shove from Eric. The battle continues. Let's go for the rear wing of the Honda. You can see Neo and Viles going side by side. That's how things went a little bit poorly for Neo last time, I think. Andrew opening up a bit of a gap in the front. But it's Viles and Neo where the action's happening right now. Ooh, there's Neo getting caught as well. A little bit of a nudge there from Viles' rear end. And there's Neo rotated in T1. And that's Binding and Akashik catching up. Akashik now right on the tail of Binding as well. Certainly a good track for these cars, Ash, that's for sure. And Akashik's pushing hard to try and get past Binding at the moment. He needs to get through quickly if he has a hope of catching up with the rest of the grid. Akashik's round the side, positioning himself on the inside for the right-hander. Leaves space for Binding and manages to carry the momentum, but it looks like Binding's just a fraction of a hair in front at the moment. Binding catches a bit too much sand there, and Akshik catches a little bit too much of Binding, and that's Binding and Akshik turned around. Binding waiting, of course, for Akshik there. But Neo has gone through, and that's left Akshik and Binding 5 seconds behind. Let's go back to the front where we've got Andrew. He is trying to fend off a certain Honda. Eric weaves left and right, trying to find a way to get past this moving wall of Andrew. But at the moment, the opportunity not presenting itself. 0.2 of a second behind, and you can see he's got the speed. Straight line and cornering, and he's trying to go late on the brakes. Doesn't quite manage to make it stick this time. Eric closing in now, got overspeed again. Seems to be able to find a little bit of speed here and there, which Andrew isn't able to grab. And the sun's coming out as I start the next lap here. Just 0.1 of a second separating these two as they continue their fight. We didn't see this in the last race. Long may it continue in this race. 12.5 minutes left on the clock, and Viles still hunting these two down. Viles a little bit off track there, catching a bit of sand. That's going to slow them down slightly. Neo in the background. Eric still 0.2 of a second behind Andrew. Losing a bit of time there in the last corner as Eric locked up the wheels, but still 0.2 of a second behind Andrew as they cross the line. Actually carrying a good bit of speed here as they try and go around the outside once again. They can find a way to cut back and get a bit of a good exit. They might be in a shot here, and that's the opportunity that Eric's been looking for. Can he make this move stick? He's got a good bit of speed now. Andrew is a little bit too far behind potentially, but they're going to have to go through this bit side by side. And there's a little bit of a loss of traction on the rear of Andrew's car there. Leads to a bit of a nudge, and Eric's the one who loses out there. Viles is there to pick up that opportunity though. Sneaks into P2. And now we have a three-way battle unfolding. Ooh, Andrew's off track. He's almost on two wheels, losing the traction. Manages to recover, but Viles is straight through into P1, and that puts the Honda in a good position here as well as they sneak on through, and Eric's back up to P2. Andrew into P3, nudging the rear end of Eric's Honda again though. But Andrew almost lost it in a straight line there. Need a pilot's license for that kind of driving. With Andrew's just lost a bit of speed there. He missed a gear, I think. Or shifted too early. That's allowed Neo to get closer. Neo starting to close in now as he edges nearer and nearer to Andrew's rear bumper. Meanwhile, Akashik down in 5th place has got a 6-second gap to fill and looks to be struggling. Eric going side by side almost with Viles as they head down to T1. There they are. Viles controlling the inside of the corner, but Eric's in a pretty strong position. As they power out of the corner, it's still side by side. Not going to call this either way just yet, but will Viles keep his foot in? Yes, he does, but Akashik... Well, no, Akashik's nowhere to be seen. Andrew shunting the rear end of Eric once again. And Neo's right in the mix as well. God, Andrew just needs to stop shunting people. He's been rear-ending a few folks in this race. We have a 4-squad formation forming now. And Viles is still leading, whereas Eric in P2, Neo and Andrew side by side. Good God, this is close. Andrew just shamelessly punting people now, and that's taken Neo out of the race, allowing Akashik a chance to catch up. Eric still putting some pressure on Viles here as Viles clings on to P1. Eric is definitely a contender though, and looks to be just sneaking on through here. Andrew getting closer. Eric getting more nervous about the state of his rear end. Let's go to the rear view camera as Andrew gets closer and closer. Gonna get a close-up view. Any shenanigans. Neo closing in as well. Goes a bit too wide though. There's Neo blasting on through. Takes the inside line with Andrew. And manages to get through, almost. Andrew still side by side with Neo. On board with Andrew. Oh, a mistake from Viles. Takes him a little bit wide there, and it's allowed Eric, Neo, and potentially Andrew to get past. And it's Eric Axelsen into the first spot for the race. Neo's alongside though, and Neo's not giving up anytime soon. Look at this. Bit of contact. And that's Neo into the wall. Bad luck for Neo again. Both races ending in a shunt into the wall. That time Neo's probably the one at fault. And Viles now putting the pressure back onto Eric as Andrew tries to gain a bit of ground here as well. Okay, with 4 minutes left on the clock, Akashik returns to the front as they join the four at the front now. Eric, Viles, Andrew and Akashik. That sand, very much a risk there, catching people out quite often. And the battle continues, a bit more spread out now, 0.3 to 0.5 of a second between these guys as they finish up another lap here. And it's Viles into the back end of Eric and Akashik into the back end of Andrew as they go 3 wide now. And it's somehow Andrew, in a stunning turn of events, has led himself to the front of the race again. Viles in close proximity. And Eric in there as well. Akashik trying to find a way past. Manages to sneak alongside the Honda. And they are weaving back and forth here. I've got to say the replay for this race. This is definitely video worthy. Eric's going down the middle almost. Decides to try another way. And Akashik's in P2. Eric side by side with Viles once again as they come into the closing 2 minutes of this race. On board with the Honda here, driven by Eric Axelsen. Round the final corner, over the start-finish line they go. And will the battle take us all the way to the line? Andrew's got a 0.7 second lead at the moment. That may make things a little bit more tricky. Viles overcooks T1. Locks back into P4. Eric up to P3. And Akashik in P2. 0.5 of a second behind Andrew. Akashik's on track here for another win if he can just get past Andrew. Considering he was turned around entirely in the first corner. As Dash says, he has come back strong with a good recovery. Got about 2 more laps here at Bikernieki. Through the final corner, Akashik 0.4 of a second behind. Very close behind Andrew there. Good acceleration from the BMW here out of T1 compared to its performance on some other tracks. And Akashik is definitely trying to find any opportunity to sneak on past here. Ooh, slight rotation there, almost catching a bit of the wall. As we come to the final corner, Akashik's on for a solid P2. As Andrew looks to take the top spot, and there we go. Andrew wins the race, hasn't won one of those for a while. He'll grab a podium for a change. Akashik in P2, Eric takes another P3. And Viles narrowly missing out there after a good start to this race. Picks up P4 with Neo in P5 and Binding bringing up the rear, last but not least, in P6. So let's go ahead and grab a couple of these people for interview. Akshik straight in there.
I told you.
Well, hello Akshik. Congratulations on a P1 and a P2.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, P1 was, pretty straightforward race. It seems like you had the whole race to yourself. Race number 2 was a little bit more exciting. Tell me a bit about how that went.
Well, yeah, as you said, race 1 was quite enjoyable. I could have a bit of a clean air in front of me, which this car really enjoys. And race 2, I kind of cooked it into the start. Kind of overswung the car and it didn't want to control itself. TC and didn't work enough. And after that, it was just recovery. I got really lucky that everyone else was fighting to death, apparently, and more. It was the only way I could ever catch up a gap that large. And yeah, Andrew, who the beach towel boomer, did very well in defending P1 for the last lap. He did very well. That was a very well deserved win in the end for him. Yeah, his car was really good on this one circuit for once, and I will miss it deeply.
Well, it was a fun race to watch. Race number 2 was one hell of a race, though. I've never seen 4 cars battle that hard for that long. Meanwhile, you were using that battle, I think, to just gain a bit of ground. How did you manage to work your way through the pack at the last minute?
Kind of everyone was kind of so focused on killing each other that I was able to snuck through a little bit. I did apparently a bit of a dive bomb on Viles, even though for myself I would have to watch a replay on that. Can't tell how it looked like from your perspective. Um, and yeah, the battle was the only reason I could catch up. I think at one point it was 3 or 4 seconds a lap. It was the only thing keeping the fight in me alive. After that, it was just try to sneak through one way or the other, and that got me up to P2.
Very good, very good. Well, hopefully that's a good few points to add to your belt, and hopefully helps your team whilst Pixel isn't here to carry some of the weight. But how are you feeling about the remaining rounds? You think the BMW's had its moment now?
Yeah, it had a moment of shine, and after that, it's gonna be rusting in the corner. Snetterton and Bathurst have such long straights, which this car doesn't enjoy. Bikernieki as a counterpart is incredibly curvy and really speaks to this car. We're not gonna be able to fight for anything in the last 2 circuits, and just gonna try to drag it home. So I enjoy what I got now. Finally a win, and I'm gonna carry that with a high head and try my best in the last 2 races.
Sounds good, actually. Well, thank you as ever for the interview, and look forward to seeing you in the remaining races.
Yeah, looking forward to it. See you soon.
Catch you later. Go ahead and bring Andrew in. Mr. Andrew, welcome back to the interview box. It's been a while.
Has it? Good start.
Just derailed the entire interview in one word. Well, I think you've had a bit of a run of struggles. I would say you're obviously fighting for the championship, but I think there's been a few races I've seen where I think the ballast has been getting the better of you.
No, I can't even blame the ballast. It's just I'm bad.
Is it a car thing, or is it just this league you're not shining?
I've been exposed. We've now got a better driver in here in the name of Eric, and my reign of stomping the puppies is over. It's his job now.
Do you think it's because you're carrying an excess amount of beach towels times?
Yeah, honestly, it's really weighing the car down. The weight distribution's all over the place as well.
Acceptable. You need to get on that. Set it up more effectively. Distribute the towels.
I'm currently watching the replay. I don't think any setup could have helped me when I literally took to the sky on the main straight.
Yeah, talk me through that. What was going on? Did you just run a little bit wide, catch a bit too much of the sausage curb, and then what was going through your mind at that moment?
Well, I didn't want to lose the lead, so I kept my foot in it. I bounced over the first curb, and then there's a quite weird pit entry here. So I just drove over the next curb, which was purely acted like a ramp, and got a good like 2 meters in the air. It's quite impressive, actually.
Yeah, I thought you were
It
going
didn't
to
lose any good
lose it on a
position.
straight line, but you managed to recover quite well.
Yeah, that's the one benefit of front wheel drive. You just stick your foot in it, and it'll drag the front back straight again.
Very good, very good. Well, we've heard from Akshik that the next 2 rounds aren't going to favour the BMW. Do you feel like you have a pretty strong odds with your Toyota going into
Like,
Snetterton and Bathurst?
he's cried and whined enough now that the BMW is actually like not crippled in a straight line, so I expect it to still be good.
Interesting. How are you feeling about Bathurst?
That's going to be fucking awful, but Snetterton will be alright.
Yeah, you're not a fan of the mountain?
I am, just not in this. Going up the hill, like struggling for grip on a front wheel drive car, trying to get it around those corners is going to be hell on earth.
Yeah, and then you'll cook them halfway through and then throw yourself down the mountain with tyres that don't work.
Mate, we cooked them halfway through the first lap, my man. It's horrible.
Solid effort. Well, thank you as always, Andrew, for your presence in the U-Box. Always a pleasure, and looking forward to seeing how you perform in the rest of the championship. You've got a pretty strong chance at a good finish. Will you be getting another star to add to your liveries going forward for another championship win?
No, I don't think so. Unless Eric doesn't show up for one of the races.
Well, we'll have to see how things pan out. But I'll move you back to the audience, Andrew. Congratulations again, and looking forward to seeing you at the remaining rounds.
See you, champ.
See ya. Alright, let's bring Eric in. Mr. Axelson, how was your race today?
Yes. Ah, man, it was good. Yeah, it was so fun. The race 2 was really good. It was really fun.
Yeah, race 2 was absolutely amazing. I've never seen such good battles for such a long period of time with so many cars. But talk me through the action today. Are you feeling confident with your Honda's abilities, or do you feel the BMWs are a bit more of a threat?
Oof, on this track tonight, on raw pace, there was no chance for me to catch Akashik in race 1. So I think on raw pace tonight, the Honda has no chance on the BMW. But that might change on the next 2 rounds, though. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, so some longer straights coming up. Is the Honda faster in a straight line than the Toyotas, or is it pretty similar?
I think I tried them all before. Like we had this pre-series race when I tried some of the cars, and I think they are very close on how they drive and on pace and everything. So and top speed as well. So I think the Toyota and the Honda is very well matched.
Very good. Well, it seemed like you had a few unwelcome visitors bumping the rear end of your Honda, but you managed to keep things in check today. How was the racing? Was it true British touring cars with a bit of bit of rubbing here and there?
Yeah, I guess it was. It was proper touring cars for sure. I was, like you said, I was had a couple sideways moments, but I think all in all, I probably did maybe send someone wide as well at some point. So I think it's a bit of give or take, and I think I enjoyed it so much race 2. So I don't hold any grudge against anyone. It was really fun.
Very good, very good. Well, you seem to be carrying on your meteoric rise up the ELO ranks here at Syndicate Motorsport. Hopefully the last 2 rounds of the season provide equal opportunity for you to shine. Are you looking forward to Snetterton or Bathurst more? Do you have a favourite?
I mean, for this car, it has to be Snetterton for me. I think it will be really, really good in these cars. I'm a Bathurst as well, but yeah, like Andrew said, I think up the hill and everything, it will be. I think Snetterton will be it's like perfect for these cars. So I look forward to next run.
Very
but
good.
I will do both.
That makes 2 of us. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in the remaining rounds, and hopefully we have a strong finish to the championship. You are in a good position, so I guess it's your championship to lose now.
Yeah, I mean, I have my drop round already, so I can't really mess up. But yeah, I will do my best.
Sounds good, Eric. Well, I appreciate your time in the interview box as always. It's always a pleasure, and great watching you race today, especially race number 2. That was really exciting. So looking forward to seeing you at the remaining rounds, and best of luck with the championship fight.
Yeah, cool. Thank you very much. Hope to speak to you again.
I'm sure you will. All right, cheers, Eric. Thank you.
See you. Bye bye.
Cheers, bye. Okay, guys. Well, appreciate your presence in chat, and Neo, thank you very much for the sub there. Looking forward to the remaining rounds of this championship. It's been a good one so far. Shame we just have such a smaller amount of drivers for this one. It didn't seem to be that popular with the attendees, but we have a new championship coming up soon, which is already well underway with planning, and I look forward to announcing that soon. But at the moment, let's have a strong finish to this championship and see where things take us. Anyway, I wish you all a very good evening and catch you again soon. Yes. Anyway, I wish you all a very good evening and catch you again soon.